Anna. I think you're an Android developer. A lot of people need help, and I think you can help. In fact, Kshitij is building a community for developers, and he and I think the Builders Club kind of started together. I think thoda sa 5-6 mahina idhar udhar. Kshitij, how's it going? Why don't you introduce yourself to the club, yaar? Very long time.
Right. It's been quite some time that I've connected with you. Hi, Sohail. Hi everyone. We have been working on creating a developer community which helps the tier 2, tier 3 college students of India who are engineering right now have a bright future with the right guidance, with the right courses, with a lot of things. A lot of us, what we do is free for the community. We have some stuff which is just launching very soon for with one more organization called as Joining the Dots, with which we are launching like a almost like a 12-month program for some 200 to 250 underprivileged students. So we keep on doing these activities, plus we have a lot of community activities going on with stuff as well. So I just got the update on WhatsApp that okay, Sohail is live. I tried to be connect with you for quite some time because I think there's been quite some gap, but I thought that this is the only moment I got the notification and I was free, so I thought that I'd join and let's ask how are things going for Builders Club. You guys keep on shifting your platform on which you host these sessions, Sohail. So what's up with the Builders Club right now? What are you up to these days?
Yeah, we don't actually keep shifting. It's
Hmm.
basically the need of the hour, and we really can't help it. You
Uh-huh.
know how we started. We started on
Yeah.
Discord, and
Right.
since then, I think we have continuously shifted. We went to a different platform. We've
Hmm.
tried out Slack as well. Now, then we are on WhatsApp. I think now we have kind of consolidated our base on WhatsApp groups. I think Nas.io is something which we are trying out in terms of events. Yeah, see, Zoom is a closed platform, right? And we have been trying to figure out a replacement for the voice chat sessions for the longest period of time.
Right.
And very frankly, Twitter lives don't work because of the anonymity, and we really don't have any filter on the quality of people who come in and interact,
Right.
right? And the
Right.
quality
Right.
of
Right.
conversations, even if you get numbers, the quality of conversations is not there because then
Yeah.
a lot of
Right.
amateurs join and you don't know who it is. And LinkedIn Live has its own challenges. Again, this is the second time we are trying out a LinkedIn Live. And basically, again, the problems are of discoverability. The UX is an issue.
Yeah,
But
this is my first time that I've joined a voice call on LinkedIn.
yeah.
I didn't even know that this feature exists on LinkedIn. Yeah.
This is the exact conversation I used to have 3 years back when people used to say I didn't even know Discord had a voice chat feature, right?
Right.
Yeah, here we are. I think 3 years on, 75,000 builders strong. I think
Hmm.
uh,
Right.
experimentation is the name of the game. If you're an entrepreneur, if you don't experiment, how would you know what works and what doesn't? But thanks a lot, Kshitij. Stick around. I think there's a
Oh,
lot lined up. A lot
sure.
of other people have joined in the listening section. Abhiroop, Syed, Subhesh, Ravi, Chandrakan, Naima, Krishna. Guys, LinkedIn Live has an issue that till the time you don't raise your hand, I will not be able to pull you guys on stage. So please raise your hands and I'll pull you guys on stage. And we can get to know what you're building. And you people can give a little bit of an introduction in the club. I'll also, once we are through with the introductions, probably get down to business. There's a little bit there's a flow of the event, and we'll pull you we'll go through that as well. Chandrakant, why don't you raise your hand? Naima, Abhiroop, Sayed. If you guys just want to listen, that's absolutely fine. And then we can probably proceed. And I think so. I'll. Hi, Naima. I'm just pulling you in, Abhiroop. I'm pulling you in as well. Again, yeah, Builders Club is all about interaction. If you guys are here to meet other people, why don't you introduce yourself? Always helps for others to get to know you. Plus, I think because this is on LinkedIn, you guys can follow each other if you find anybody of relevance as well, and then connect post the call and probably go through the profile, get to know what that person is building. Hey, Shubhesh. Hey, Naima. Naima, I think you can start, and then we'll go to Shubhesh. Hello. Naima, I don't know, is the mic working? Because we can't hear anything. Or is it just me? Okay, I think Naima is having some. Hello? Naima, I think there's a mic issue. We'll come back to you. Subhesh, why don't you go? And then we can probably go to Naima later.
Sure, sure. I'll start. Sorry, I have a bad throat. Good evening, everyone. It's my first time to the club. I'll just introduce myself. We are building a pet care startup. We have our brand called Basil, under which we majorly focus on products for dogs and cats. And we have built an offline model pan India. Now we are building an online model and here to learn more and kind of build together with everyone and share what I know.
Hmm, interesting. Welcome, Subhesh. Welcome to the club. Abhirup, why don't
Thank you.
we get to know a little bit about what you're
Yeah,
doing?
sure. Yeah. Hi guys. This is Abhirup. I'm finally a student at ISER Calcutta, and I've been working with a couple of startups from my third year of college, and right now I'm in my fourth year. And after working with these startups, I always wanted to start something my own. So I started this Zoo, which is an anonymous intra-college social network, and we are live at two campuses with around 2000 users on the platform with around 100 to 50 daily active users, and we are looking for some mentors from this club who can come help us and guide us to move us to take us forward, right? Hello.
Absolutely, absolutely, Abhirup. Any kind of help that you need, I think Saloni and Bharat are here. And I think Kshitij is also here. Kshitij works exclusively with students for their tech requirements. I don't know whether you have a tech specific requirement or not, but I think Kshitij is the right guy. Kshitij, any thoughts on this?
uh, I mean
Oh,
I
sure. I mean, Abhijit, you're doing great work. I would love to know more about things that you're doing, and if there is anything that I can help with my experience or the resources that I have in the community, I'll try to reach out, right? Sure.
Sure. I mean, I'm very new to this community. It has been referred by one of my friend from IIT BHU, and they told ki it's a very good community. A lot of people will be there who will help you out. So yeah, I joined this, and absolutely, Kshitij, I'll reach out to you.
Sure. All right. I think I'll send you a message or I'll send you a request because my requests are full. I cannot accept any more requests or something. There's a problem for me to have to do a cleanup. I didn't know that there was a limit to how many connections you can make on
Yeah,
LinkedIn, right? So I keep on
is there a limit?
accepting. Yeah, after
I
30,000,
guess
you
yeah.
cannot accept the connections. I just
Wow.
realized when I hit the limit itself. So I have to do a cleanup now and remove the connections. I'm not very recently connected or something. But I'll reach out. Sure, sure. Yeah, we'll connect.
नई नई
Thanks.
चीज पता चल रही है सर लिंक्डइन पे भी लिमिट्स चल रहा है अभी
हाँ ये मुझे भी अभी पता चला recently.
I just, welcome the new guys who have just joined in, guys. Again, the welcome to the Friday, the weekly live that we do on LinkedIn. We are also simultaneously streaming on YouTube, but that's for the next session. All the guys who are right now listening in case you people want to come and introduce yourself, and Abhirup, if you can just mute yourself. In case you people want to come and introduce yourself and get to know other people as well, please raise your hands. LinkedIn has a problem. Till the time you don't raise your hand, I will not be able to unmute you or get you guys on stage. So if you raise your hands, I'll be able to pull you guys in. Okay, so I think Mohan is here. Hi, Mohit. Hey, Mohit, what's up? Hello. Mohit, you have to unmute yourself. I mean, I have allowed you on
Oh,
stage.
yes. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Hi,
Hi,
guys.
hi.
Sorry, I didn't realize I'm using LinkedIn for this kind of an event for the first time. So,
Yeah,
pardon me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. I think
So,
a lot of people are telling us this, but okay.
so, hi, guys. I'm Mohit. I'm the founder of Global Startups Club and Mojo Startup, in case you guys know that. I was referred to you guys, I think, couple of days back by somebody saying, check out the Builders Club. somebody from my Bangalore event. So I just kind of followed the page. I must have seen the event and I just logged in. So yeah, nice to see good things happening all over the ecosystem.
Nay, absolutely, Mohit. I think together we are all trying to help each other in building profitable and sustainable entities here. So all the more help.
And
And great, see, it's a serendipitous life. You ended up here on our LinkedIn Live.
in
uh,
fact, actually, we have a streaming event going on the other side with our club.
acha,
And it's the first time I decided I will not log in to our
acha,
community event. So
acha.
I'm glad to be listening to somebody else actually.
Arey, nahi, sir. Flavor is all the rage. The more variety you have, the more experiences you get and more learnings you have. Probably, there's something new that you can take away for your event from this one. But
Yeah, yeah.
welcome, welcome, Mohit. And all the people here are either building stuff or are a part of the startup ecosystem in some form or the other. I'll just move on to the agenda of today. And I think, of course, networking is one of the primary reasons why we do this, so that people could connect with each other, get to know what others are building, as well as talk about any kind of help that they might need. Like for example, Abhirup was looking for help, and Kshitij basically can provide that help. And similarly, in case you people want to talk a little bit about what you people are building, any kind of help you need, or if you're hiring, or if you people are looking to raise funds, please put it out here. This one is also being simulcasted on YouTube. We are going to create bites and put it in the relevant platforms as and when. This event is a weekly event. What we do in this event, apart from the usual chit chat and the intros that you people have, is we also discuss about the startup news of the week. And because this is an interactive and a discussion-led forum, there are different perspectives and opinions that basically come through the moment we basically talk about the startup news. So there's a flow of the event, and there's also a giveaway at the end of this event today. So in case you people decide to stick around till the end, you people can actually win a few merch. There are books that we are giving out as giveaways. So there are four sections of today's event. One, we start off with a basic updates, which things which are happening within the Builders Club, so that a lot of people who might be either missing out on notifications and communication from our side, they get to know what's happening within the club or what happened this week and what's being planned next week. Then we get down to a book recommendation. So there's a book of the week section. I am a great book lover and an avid book reader. So I believe that books are the gateway to intelligence. And amongst the books that I find fascinating or useful for the startup community or the people around us, I basically recommend that. And this also basically becomes a section where you guys get to recommend the books that you are reading or you find useful for the community at large. Then we get down to the startup news of the week. We have a funding news update, the kind of companies which raise funds, how much was raised, and then we get down to the main stories. Today's main stories, of course, the OpenAI saga, and then there are a few others, the sub news or the number two and number threes of the news that we go through. The whole thing is gonna be over in around half an hour, 45 minutes, because we move at a little bit of a faster pace. Um, because a lot of people used to complain in our previous iterations that our events go on for 3 hours, because nobody wants to back up when a very hot or a very interesting conversation starts. So let's see how this one goes, and we'll just kick it off in case you people also wanna watch my face and a screen share of the deck that we have, then that you can do on YouTube, but you would not be able to interact here. So those are the pros and cons of the two different platforms. Let's just kick it off from here. um, I'll just Move on, yes. So I think before before I basically get down to stuff, a lot of you people might be new to the community. So let me give you one line description about the Builders Club. We are one of the largest startup founder communities globally. We have around 75,000 odd builders from different industries, different geographies, building together, helping each other in building great products and businesses. We have a very simple thesis that irrespective of which industry you're building in, your phase of your journey is more important. And that defines the needs that you have. We have a lot of stuff, lot of services and initiatives that we run. You can check them out on nas.io/tbc. We have we'll get down to the club updates, and probably you'll get a little bit of a sense of the things that we do. Last week, we basically released our long awaited, we basically restarted our podcast series. The Spotify series has been going on for over 2 years now. We have around 75 odd episodes live, and Spotify actually gifted us last year as in we won an award from Spotify for being one of the best startup one of the best long form content pieces out there. But now we have started a YouTube journey as well. So we released our video podcast last week with Ravi Handa. Ravi Handa is the founder of handagafunda.in, which got acquired by Unacademy. And post the acquisition, he basically has turned a creator. He was one of the first guys to be monetized by Twitter. And the podcast which we released last week, which you can find on the Builders Club YouTube channel, you will find he talks about why Twitter does not work for brands and how does monetization work from us so for on the different platforms which are out there. He speaks from his experience as a creator, the challenges that he faced and faces as a creator, because he's a very solo kind of a creator. So anybody who's starting up in the content creation journey, I think that podcast is going to really give you a lot of very interesting insights. We are there on youtube.com/ at the rate the builders club, and you this event is also being streamed live right now. This week we basically have an event on Saturday. uh, we are doing our first investors boardroom. There's a virtual catch up for all the people who are investors or a part of the investment ecosystem. We also basically have an investors club along with the builders club, which is of course a sister entity, if you may call it. Around 300 odd investors are there. In case anybody of you is also an investor, you should definitely apply. We are there on nas.io/tbc investors. So we are gonna have that, and in this we are going to discuss about the pipeline or the startups which are raising funds within the Builders Club. So anybody who is a part of our fundraising track, their startups are going to be directly discussed with the investors in this community, in this call. So if you people are looking to raise funds, you should definitely register in the Builders Club fundraising track. Again, you'll find that on nas.io/tbc. That's where we have kind of made that a home of all our initiatives earlier. A lot of people, because we live on WhatsApp, people don't understand, or people don't get to know the different initiatives that we continue running. And I think nas.io has done a fabulous job in helping us give a home for that. Those are the two small updates from the community. In case anybody has a question, I'm happy to hear you out, guys. Anybody who has joined in new, please raise your hand so that I can allow you to speak. LinkedIn does not allow you. Anybody who's already here on the stage, in case anybody wants to ask a question, I'm happy to. Shitij, you want to say something?
No, no, not on the current topic, but I was just very curious about what, Sohail, you've been doing, because a lot of people who have joined today said that they are coming from a referral, that somebody is saying that you should join the Builders Club. How is that happening? How is the referral stuff going on, and what kind of value is being provided? Was curious about that.
Yeah,
Other
sure.
than the voice calls, yeah,
नहीं, absolutely, यार. See, देखो, you know this, right? Because I think we were 3 months young when we connected, right?
right.
We're not even 3 months. So I think our intent was always to drive quantifiable, tangible value for all the community members, irrespective of who
Yeah.
you are. The referral bit is happening, and 80% of the people who are a part of the community have come via referrals, and those referrals happen via. So we have a certain flywheel, of course, wherein a lot of our communications carry the invite your friends wala bit, and the links are everywhere. But if anybody doesn't find value in any of the activities that they are participating in, they will never refer. So our focus has always been on value creation. As I told you, we very recently launched our phase three, in which we moved to nas.io, and probably the initiatives that are there, and the kind of the turnaround time and the response time that our team usually has in terms of communicating or connecting with these people, probably that might have left a mark. I mean, very frankly, Kshitij, even when we did not have a flywheel, so Discord may it was fairly easy for us to share the link, because every message used to technically be an invite link for Discord,
Right.
right?
Right.
On WhatsApp, we were having this challenge because we had a registration form uh, in the beginning. Now we at least have nas.io/tbc, which is a very simple URL that we can push to different people, and that's what we are evangelizing now everywhere. And probably, people just like what they see, or what they experience in the club.
I'm sure.
2023
Yeah.
2023, a lot of emphasis had been on the offline activities, and we realized in 2023 that if you're meeting somebody who's a decent enough networker, and they basically have a great time in your events or your
Yeah.
activations, they definitely get a lot of people in here.
Yeah.
Because I think while there might be, community is all the rage now, right, Kshitij? But we as a community, have realized that there are very few which actually deliver value. You'll find 500 500 1000 वाले बहुत सारे communities हैं अभी,
Yeah. Right.
बट बहुत कम लोग ना वैल्यू क्रिएशन के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं. लॉट ऑफ पीपल फोकस ऑन एंगेजमेंट, व्हिच वाज नेवर आवर मेट्रिक, व्हिच स्टिल इवन नाउ इज नेवर आवर मेट्रिक. We always say that if you're a founder, if you're a part of a community, you're not chatting good, because then you're working. Your work is to
Right.
make your startup a success, not to sit and chat here. We will give you all services we have. So I think currently what TBC has become is we have become a one-stop solution for anything and everything that a startup founder might need to build. And that 360-degree solution might be something which people are finding fascinating. यार. In fact, the guys who have actually been referred, यार तुम लोगों को क्या बोल करके बुलाया, वो लोग ही बता पाएंगे, मैं क्या बोलूंगा अपने मुंह में मिट्टू, और मैं कितना बताऊं. So, I think Abhirup, Mohit and all, you guys got referred. If you might actually throw some light on that.
So I'll give you a quick background. Actually, we are one of the other communities. So my attendees just told me, कि मोहित, do you know the Builders Club guys?
Hmm.
I'm like, नहीं पता, देख लेते हैं कौन है.
Hmm.
And so they said we attended couple of your podcasts or something,
Hmm.
and that's how they just shared the link with me. That's how I came to know about you guys.
हम्म.
So that's how
तब तो
it's
आप
a
एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हो. आपने
beyond
एक्सप्लोर
the
करा.
level.
हाँ.
Beyond a level, look, it's a very small ecosystem everywhere, right? After a
Yeah, yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah,
So whether somebody else would have referred today, मतलब आज नहीं तो कल तो मिल ही जाते कहीं ना कहीं.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, यार. Hey Sandhya, hi. So a lot of people get startled कि यार मैं जैसे ही ज्वाइन करते वैसे मेरे को हाय कैसे बोल रही है. But हाँ, so I think that's a great one, यार मोहित. I think देखो, anybody who's a part of the startup ecosystem, enabler ecosystem, they definitely यार हम लोग तो आपस में ही टकराएंगे, कितनी छोटी इतनी छोटी सी तो कम्युनिटी है. The people who are a part of the community, now why are they referring, why are they coming? यार मेरा तो हमेशा से वही रहा है कि आप वैल्यू दोगे तो जनता रुकेगी, जनता आएगी. I think Chandrakant, Kshitij remembers me for the past 3 years. Chandrakant has been, I think, in for the first 100 people who have been a part of the Builders Club, and now 3 years on, he's still around and he's still listening in. So again, I think it's about the value. And यार हम लोग ना मतलब पता नहीं है, बहुत सारी सब्जेक्टिव चीजें होती है, अब उसको मैं क्वांटिफाई कैसे करूंगा क्षितिज? दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम दैट इवन आई हैव दैट
No, I mean, it's something that I wanted to congratulate upon. It's very hard to get to that level that you do not know what value you're providing. Maybe you're not able to encash that or something, but still, you've cleared one step, and that's big thing, right? How important it is for like the best kind of marketing is when people give you the referral by themselves, right? It is not giving them anything else. So probably you're doing something great. That's great.
नहीं यार, देखो मेरे को तो वही लगता है कि इफ यू आर जेन्युइन विद पीपल एंड इफ यू ऑनेस्टली वांट टू गिव वैल्यू, मतलब जनता अप्रिशिएट करती है यार उस चीज को।
Oh, bilkul, bilkul, definitely.
आप भी तो कर रहे हो सर, you have grown your community in leaps and bounds, you know better, you know more about creating modular communities than me. I too have done it in a very ad hoc fashion, very frankly. But I think you have kind of systematically built a community which is now modular and scalable. So hats off to you as well, Kshitij, of the
Thank you.
things
Thank
that
you
you
so
have
much.
done.
Yeah.
So, say yeah, hi Sandhya. First of all, again, since all the guys were new, LinkedIn has an issue. You have to raise your hand so that we can pull you guys or unmute you. All the new members, we welcome you guys. And in case you people want to come, introduce yourself and participate in the discussion. Please, we would love to bring you guys in, but you'll have to raise your hands for that. Okay, moving on. Um, I think where were we? Yeah. So basically, that those were the club updates. This Saturday we have a investors boardroom, and anybody who's an investor should be a part. Anybody who's raising funds, please fill up the fundraising track form so that your deal also gets discussed in this call, right? With that, the second section of today's event starts. This is the section that we call the Book of the Week. Every week, because I myself am a book aficionado, I believe that books are the gateway to intelligence, and no other medium or no other format basically gives you the opportunity to move ahead in your own pace and visualize things your own way. And that's why probably books are said to be your best friends and the gateway to intelligence. Last week, the book of the week was Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, where we discussed about personal branding. Today's book is called Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. How many people have read Building a Second Brain? Anybody? Anybody in the
I
listening
mean,
group
I've
has
been
read?
following that person, and so I do not have a habit of reading. That's a big problem that I've just realized
पढ़ो
now.
सर,
I,
पढ़ो
I've
पढ़ो,
so, but I've
कंटिन्यू।
I've been following him on like I download every kind of audiobook and I listen a lot, right? And so I've heard a lot about summaries of the book, and I've actually worked on building my second brain for quite some time. To a certain extent, I've been able to be successful in this, but yeah, I know about it.
Great, great, Kshitij. Anybody else who has read the book or has heard of the book? Okay, so I'll give you a small brief about the book, and then you people can actually win this book in the giveaway. So basically, Tiago Forte has written this book, I think, in 2014, 2015. Very highly recommended. It's actually entered one of the all-time bestsellers book as well. Tiago Forte talks about building a second brain in this book, right? So the concept of building a second brain revolves around the idea of creating a systematic approach to manage and organize your knowledge. The problem being that today we are living in a world where we are in seconds being given gems of knowledges or gems of wisdom, which we are not being able to systematically imbibe or absorb within ourselves. That's because of the volume and the speed at which these informations are coming in. What Tiago hypothesizes is that you can actually capture all the data that you people are seeing around you and then organize, distill, and use it in such a way that you will always be able to either remember it or get back to it as and when the requirement arises. right? So Forte introduces two different frameworks in this book. One is called the para framework, and the other is called the code framework. So the para framework basically categorizes information into four different buckets: projects, which is specific tasks or outcomes; areas, which is areas of responsibility or aspects of your life; resources, which is reference materials; and archives, which are basically things which you have either completed or inactive, right? And this is basically what is saying that whatever things that you are getting around you, whatever is there, if you get a song, if you get a movie, if you get a quote, will technically fall in either of these four categories or buckets. And then again, it's a very subjective thing how you define these, as in how do you define what goes into these buckets. But these are technically the four buckets. And then he talks about the format or the framework called code. So code is capture, organize, distill, express. So what he says is whatever information is there, first you capture it, then you organize the captured information, then you distill the information that you have got, and then you express it. Once you've expressed it, every time you express any information that you have, it technically gets encoded within your brain, as in it gets hardwired within your neural systems, right? So this code framework, and I will not, I mean, I think you guys should either buy the book or you should participate in the giveaway today, because we are giving away two copies of Building a Second Brain today. And stick around for the giveaway for that. Um, but this book basically, for anybody who really wants to you know take control of all the information that you people are getting, all around you, if you want to capture it and kind of organize it in such a manner that it stays with you and you know what information is where, this book is something which you like. I think a lot of big YouTubers have also talked about this book. Ali Abdal has spoken about it. I think Viren from Mind Valley has spoken about it. I think Mr. Who's the Boss has also spoken about this book. So it's a very highly recommended book. In fact, it's a must read for all of you guys who are here, because I think all of us, one of the biggest challenges is kind of bandwidth management, especially if you're building something. Anybody here, I'll take a pause here, of course, open for discussion, open to go deeper in case you want me to, and also would want to hear from you guys in case anybody of you reads. What books are you reading, or what are the books that you people would want to recommend for the other guys? Anybody of you? You can just unmute, or anybody who's in the listening side, just raise your hands. I'll pull you guys on stage. Shubhesh, Mohit, Kshitij, Abhirup, Bharat, Shadab. Yeah, Mohit.
Yeah, hi. I'm currently, starting off the Lean Startup
Yeah.
because I know for several years I've been wanting to read it. So
Acha,
finally getting my hands on it.
acha.
And also very soon, I'm also trying to complete my book by next month. So
Are you
hopefully,
writing a book?
I have completed 95% of it. Because it took 2 years to complete from first chapter to last chapter.
Hmm.
The language is completely different across it. So, you need to like kind of match it so that
Got
it
it.
has a single flow. So yeah.
Got it.
So
Really,
lean startup is
congratulations.
something again, it's been recommended all over since such a long time.
Yeah. The author of Lean Startup was the second guest in our podcast.
That's great to know.
This is back in 2020 though, हाँ? 3 साल पहले की बात है. लेकिन we
Amazing.
were able to get him because I think probably it was COVID times and we were too naive to think that he would not respond. So वो कहते हैं ना, naivety actually sometimes pays.
Yeah.
So and I think writing a book is a commendable job, bro. It's a very very tough thing to complete a book. ठीक है, तो खत्म कौन
Correct,
सा है?
correct.
वो
मेरा मेरा
99%.
195 पेजेस हो गया इसलिए आई एम सेइंग कंप्लीट होगा.
अच्छा. बहुत सही, बहुत सही. Anybody else who's reading anything or who wants to talk about a book? Hey Sandhya, I'm just pulling you in. Hi Sandhya, how's it going?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Hi, Sohail. Lovely to be here and so excited to be a part of your startup live. So, I am pretty new to the book reading game. I have been trying to read for a very long time, but right now, I am just about to finish the 5 a.m. club. So, as much as I'm trying to stick to the reading game, I'm also trying to wake up early. But other than that, extremely excited to be here. Also, I am definitely going to participate in your giveaway and get that book from you. So, looking forward to that.
Great, great. Sanjay, I think 5 a.m. club is great. Um, the again, I probably am one of those guys who believes that again, if you're an early riser, that book is made for you. Okay.
Hmm.
If you're
Yeah,
not,
yeah. So I intend to rise early, though I'm not an early riser, and that's why I picked
yeah.
up that book so that it can motivate me. Definitely, it's motivating me, and yeah, I've gotten pretty close to 6 a.m. So let's see when I'm able to touch the 5 a.m. club. Yeah.
नहीं यार ये देखो मैं वही बता रहा हूँ again the way I look at it it's all about the mindset whatever you believe you'll be able to do and books actually help you in creating that mindset that shift in perspective so अगर आपको सुबह 5 बजे उठना है 5 a.m. क्लब पढ़ो आप definitely motivate होगे and you will
Yeah, yeah.
definitely
No,
reach that
really nice
5
book.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah
really
it's
good
got
book.
some really great learnings huh
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah cool thanks a lot Sandhya for your inputs anybody else hey Shadab.
Yeah, hi. One book which still I'm halfway through is Noise by Daniel Kahneman, Olivier Sibony, and Cass. I mean, these three people, based on their research around the decision making process, they have written this book, and it is quite amazing. Which basically talks about how noise produces errors in many fields, be
Mm.
it medicine, law, public health, and how decisions are gets motivated by the noise around us, and how as a good practitioner of whatever domain we are working in, we'll be able to separate the noise uh, while making those decisions. So it can be handy for anybody who's in any stream wherein some intellectual stimulation is required while dealing with a decision situation, whether it's a creative strategy, performance, hiring, even for medical professionals. It's quite interesting, but I'm still halfway through.
It basically talks about frameworks, right? It basically talks about how to cut the clutter and basically
Yes, yes,
systematically whatever data is coming in or information is coming in, what frameworks you put it in so that you can take the right decision.
true, true, true.
Interesting, interesting. I'll put that in my reading list. I haven't read this one.
I'll share you the link for that.
Please do. Please do. Also, guys, in case you find anybody interesting within the live here, please feel free to connect and follow each other. That's the reason why we're doing it on LinkedIn and not Twitter. Okay, moving on. I think we basically have gone on. I mean, the next segment is basically the startup news segment, and this is where I think a lot of people should. I mean, this is an interactive event, so the news is something where we would want all of you guys to also pitch in because this is where things become interesting. We basically are gonna talk about the different things which have happened in the startup ecosystem this week, and everybody of you should be, I mean, feel free to participate because that's where different opinions come in. Because what we are gonna discuss here are things which have happened, but what are the repercussions, why it happened? Everybody has a different take on things, and you know which one I'm talking about, and I'm sure that everybody would have an opinion around it. But let's just kick off with the news. So basically, we'll start off with the funding news. This week, we had around $50 million, which basically was given out to 12 startups across India, out of which there were 10 early stage startups and two late stage or growth stage startups. Baking Go. got 16 raised $16 million, and Slice, the payment service provider, basically raised $9 million in debt. In the early stage startup, this is probably the first time when I think almost 20 million of the 45 million is basically the early stage startups. There were 10 startups. The biggest one was Cover Self, which basically operates in the automation space, $8.2 million. Then Initio, which basically is in the medical technology space, they raised. General Autonomy Robotics Venture raised. Centa raised, which is a teacher accreditation platform. Um, and overall, out of the 12 deals, 6 deals were made in Bangalore. The other six, two were made in Delhi NCR, one in Mumbai, two in Pune, and one in Surat. So we see a lot of series. So over the past few weeks, we have been seeing a lot of tier, the non-metro cities also getting into the funding way, or rather the startups from these cities also getting funded. So Surat, Jaipur, Chandigarh, Lucknow, Kolkata, all of these states have also given us funded startups in the past few weeks. Again, funding news is one section which we cover every week, and every week we basically go through all the different startups which raised funds and how much. Now, this was just the funding news. We get down to the top news of the week. The top news of the week is basically Sam Altman and OpenAI, the whole saga, which basically, uh, was unveiled in front of us uh, over a period of, I think it was what, 4 days, 5 days? I think 17th October. So it's what, 6 days. In 6 days, Sam Altman was fired, he got hired, and then he came back. And I think it's the stuff that movies are made on, and I'm sure that there will be a movie which will be made around this as well. But I think before I give you a little bit of a brief, anybody of you who has a take on the whole open AI saga. I have a few things that I definitely want to talk about in this, but would definitely want to see what you guys have to say around this. Anybody who wants to open up a mic, I'll just probably give you a little bit of a brief about what has happened. Okay, so on 17th of November, Sam Altman was dismissed for inconsistencies in communication with the company's board. This was a very random thing because I think him and Greg Brockman, who's also the OpenAI co-founder, they basically got to know it within, I think, within less than 24 hours of the whole decision being taken. And Sam Altman was replaced by Meera Murati, who was taken up as the interim CEO, right? This happened on 17th. Satya Nadella said that irrespective of what happens, we will continue with the OpenAI arrangement that we have. On 18th of November, Sam Altman went back to the office. He basically tweeted with a visitor's card saying that I'm probably going to wear this one last time. And people were speculating that OpenAI, now, there are round of discussions which are happening, wherein Sam Altman will go back to OpenAI, but that was thrashed on 19th of November, where it was announced that the Twitch CEO is going to be the OpenAI CEO now. And Sam Altman was basically left fending for himself. On 20th of November, Satya Nadella announces that both Sam Altman and Greg Brockman will be joining Microsoft to head a new team, and they'll be given all unlimited resources to build whatever in the AI space that they want to do. And um, and and this is when on 20th of November itself, 700 out of 770 employees in OpenAI signed a letter and sent it to the company's board saying that, hey guys, if you people don't tell us why he was fired, and if you don't bring him back, and the whole board currently, if they don't step down, then we are all leaving and joining Microsoft. We're joining Sam's team. And on 22nd of November, which is yesterday, OpenAI announces that Sam Altman and Greg Brockman are back. And today we get to know that the whole board has been fired and there is a new board which has come in. So that's the saga. In 6 days, we have seen the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride, everything basically. इसमें क्या नहीं है? Drama भी है, suspense भी है, thriller भी है. So it's a full movie in itself. But anybody of you who has a take on what is happening, say this has nothing to do with startups, very frankly. The way I look at it, it is all about ego and power struggle which is going on. Mohit, what's your take on this?
So I personally feel what you said in the last sentence. It's an ego and power struggle. If you look at who was the board of directors of OpenAI, it was these four people who were not stakeholders in OpenAI because OpenAI originally was a non-profit venture, right?
Yeah,
Microsoft got involved and is because of the profit subsidiary that they opened under OpenAI
yeah,
because somebody has to fund it. You cannot just run non-profit for 20-30 billion dollars of expense.
yeah,
So there was an oversight board which was made, which was these CEO of Salesforce,
yeah,
CEO of Quora, who are themselves not non-profit people.
yeah,
So I think Sam Altman is cult status in the industry today around the world. And let's be honest, ChatGPT has been the greatest product that has come out in the last few years, perhaps.
yeah, yeah.
So I think it was that they exceeded their own power, and there were only four board members technically who
Hmm,
took that
hmm,
decision.
hmm,
And
hmm.
even if he was the most horrible person as they're trying to paint him to be, I think they needed a little more accountability than they had as a board to be doing such a drastic step. That's honestly what I think about.
So interesting that you pointed out. There's also one speculation which is going around that one of the board members was the co-founder of Quora, and Quora had technically a
Correct.
competing
Yes.
product to OpenAI, and I think the recent update that basically was released was in direct competition to this product of Quora. And the co-founder of Quora was pissed off, and that is why the line saying that they were not completely transparent with the board comes in. Sorry. So again, these are all speculations. I think.
Interesting point, but I don't think so. OpenAI or Sam Altman owes anything to Quora per se, just because they're board members. Because the four board members were unpaid board members
Yeah,
who were just honorary position.
yeah,
So I think just because it was constituted in the board that they can fire the CEO, you don't just fire just because you have the power. If you take Apple's case back in the day in the 1980s, they had legitimate power over Steve Jobs and Apple Corporation as a whole.
yeah,
And this is a very different case if you take two powerful CEOs who were fired. If you take Jack Dorsey from Twitter days when he was fired, there was a very different dynamic that the board actually owned the company versus in this particular case, it was a fiduciary power that they had, which
yeah,
they exceeded.
yeah, yeah. No, no, absolutely. Yeah. Again, nobody is denying the fact that it was wrong. My point is, technically, what they did was still legal, right? It's just a
Yes,
power. It's just a power game, yeah. It's a power move, nothing else. They did it because they could do it, and there was no logic behind it.
correct.
Um, so at least till now we haven't found any logic around it. But I think Harsh and Divya, you have joined in fairly new. So in case you people want to join in, so LinkedIn has an issue. Till the time you don't raise your hand, I will not be able to. You will not get an option of coming on stage. At least I will not be able to pull you guys in. So please raise your hands. We would love to know a little bit about what you people are building as well, and we can pull you guys in. So yeah, so this was the Sam Altman story. In case anybody has any other pointers to add, I'm happy to continue, or we can move on to the next story as well. Right. So we'll just move on to the next one. Right. So the next one is it's a good news actually. So Rephrase.ai, the Bangalore-based company, they got acquired by Adobe. Um, Adobe, this is the first Indian startup ecosystem acquisition by Adobe. And also its first acquisition in a Gen AI startup. So Rephrase.ai is a video creation platform which used AI to create to help you create, short form repurposing of content. And Adobe has basically bought that company in. Next news is around the IPO of Swiggy, and this is where I would need help from all the fintech or the finance people or the traders in the ecosystem. So Swiggy is eyeing a 2024 IPO. They are set to already being billed as 2024's biggest Indian IPO. They are trying to, the size of the IPO is going to be around 8,300 crore. Um, and this is going to happen next week. They've already started the filing process. Given the fact that, given the way the recent IPOs of different startups or the startup ecosystem have been, would love to know what you guys think about this one, because I think Mama Earth IPO also kind of tanked in the middle, but now the numbers have started slowly going up. Anybody has any take? Chandrakant, you usually have a take on the IPOs, so in case you people wanna kind of come up and talk about it, would love to get a perspective from you. Anybody else here who is either a trader or in the finance domain who has any idea about the IPO space and how the whole Swiggy IPO is being built up? Happy to give you guys a stage. Okay, so I'm sure that nobody has this thing. Cool. We'll move on to the next one.
I think,
Hi,
okay,
Mohit.
so from
Are
my
you're a
contribution there,
CSCS? You should definitely give us a
I'm a CSCS, yes.
yes.
I'm a CSCS who also gets inside IPO work at times.
Okay.
So I think a lot has to do with the market sentiment that also happened with Zomato, I guess,
Okay.
because the way Zomato's IPO went. See, the thing is, they will market it well. Swiggy is a very well-known brand.
Yeah.
The whole what do you call challenge around there is all these are valuation-based companies who are just trying to get exit for investors' money.
Yeah.
That's what their IPO is. It's not a growth stage IPO. It's
Hmm.
not like Swiggy is getting inside IPO because they're trying to raise money for further growth of their company. That's the difference between traditional businesses and the current crop of startups that are going into IPO. A traditional business going into IPO is going because they're trying to expand geographies, they're trying to expand product lines in that true sense. Whereas some of these startups are overinflated on their valuation by a huge chunk and are just trying to offload that loss of value to retail investors and institutional investors rather than try and be a little more profitable. Like you, me, and everybody who follows startup ecosystem closely knows that after 7 years, 10 years, and around the globe, there's no money in food delivery.
Hmm.
You know, um, I mean, Lyft hasn't made money, Uber Eats hasn't made money, Bolt hasn't made money in Europe,
Hmm.
Deliveroo hadn't made money. Like nobody's made money.
Hmm.
So you're not gonna see it that differently that Swiggy will just start minting money just because they have really big backers. And it's
Hmm.
now grown to the size that there is no further market for them. Like the
Hmm.
market is duopoly divided between Zomato and Swiggy straight down the middle,
Hmm.
like your Amazon and Flipkart on the other side. So I feel it's just honestly an exit. I think retail investors should be smart enough to avoid it, but I think they will still end up getting subscribed to the extent they want.
Hmm. But yeah, tell me one thing. This Mama Earth wala thing. A lot of people have been speculating that they announced their quarterly report also, no, annual or quarterly report
Correct.
very recently, and everything is in positive now. Suddenly after the IPO, is it
It's
just a
positive
PR
at
stunt
a
or?
it's a very small it's a very small amount.
Hmm.
Secondly, as a chartered accountant, I can frankly show you what profits and numbers you want legally. So
Acha,
there's enough legal ways to also bend around
acha,
what's needed to be shown
acha.
by a putting in creative accounting policies and creative company making and subsidiary making and whatnot.
हम्म, मतलब आप नंबर दिखा दोगे अभी, दिखा सकते हो अगर आप
हाँ,
चाहो तो।
there are times when CAs are taught how to work from a number back
या
towards what needs to be shown,
हम्म
and I mean, I've had chat with people who were on the audit team of Satyam once upon a time. So, those were shown as case studies to us, what not to do, what to do. Even right now, the pressure, because think about it, like some of these companies, take Mamath, take Swiggy. Do you know what they will be paying their chartered accountancy teams? They'll be paying in crores of rupees. Everybody involved in the Swiggy IPO is getting paid crores. So you're getting your lifetime retirement value of money to just to make this look pretty. I'm not gonna say fudge it, just to make it look prettier. So there's a lot of big money riding behind these IPOs. Is why even the best of the people who are who wouldn't do things like this would end up doing, because is it really hurting anybody? Is how people think.
नहीं नहीं, बात सही है यार। आई थिंक दे आर आल्सो ट्राइंग टू फेंड फॉर देमसेल्व्स, और ये लूप होल है ना, दिस इज टेक्निकली अ लूप होल, दे आर नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग इलीगल।
Yeah, but again, if you look at even in Elon Musk, Elon Musk has fooled people by tweeting about Tesla deals and Tesla cars, while he's himself making money off the New York stock exchange in US on Tesla stocks,
हम्म
and he's been pulled up by the SEC. But he has such a cult following amongst people that people believe everything he'll spin off to them to make money off his own shares.
हम्म
Um, so it's not a phenomenon only on one side. It's something that's happened all over the world, happening all over the world. These are the kind of stocks which have also such a great brand value that 60-70% of the innocent people who don't know what's exactly wrong with them, or how a stock market IPO is actually just an exit for you to run away with this
हम्म
boatload of valuation.
हम्म
I think that's where this happens, and why it will keep happening.
नहीं नहीं यार, आई थिंक इफ यू आर अ गुड ब्रांड एंड इफ यू आर मेकिंग मनी, आई थिंक योर अकाउंटिंग एंड फाइनेंस टीम हैज टू बी इवन स्मार्टर, the way I look at it. So yeah, I think having, and that's why you see all these bigger companies having the star-studded legal and finance teams who actually help them. And it makes sense also. That's where all the Goldman Sachs and the Lehman Brothers have also all made money as well, ना? पैसा तो वही बन रहा है. But ठीक है, I think thanks a lot, Mohit.
Yeah, thank you then.
हाँ हाँ मोहित, go on. Okay. Cool. Next news is a very interesting one. Basically, Uber is planning to launch a bus shuttle service for office goers in Kolkata. Right, so Kolkata has suddenly become a hotbed. Mukesh Ambani has also committed around $5 billion. I guess this is yesterday or day before yesterday's news. Uber is starting from March 2024, Uber Shuttle, which will have 60 AC buses on predefined routes connecting business districts with residential areas. The Uber has basically said that it would invest $10 million in West Bengal by 2025 and create around $50,000 of livelihood opportunity. This is a very interesting move. Again, I think a lot of people have tried to get into the bus business. Not a lot of them have succeeded till now. But a player like Uber, I think on a smaller or a niche or rather a geography specific service is something which I think would make sense, especially in places like Goa or in in Kolkata, where a lot of people are used to taking buses. This kind of makes sense. Anybody has any take on this? I'm happy to give you guys a stage. or we'll probably move on to the next one. Okay, cool. So moving on to the last news of today. I think this is again one of those stories which was connected to the to what Mohit was talking about. This is around Byju's. So Baiju had recently denied that they did not have a ED show cause notice, but today ED has kind of confirmed that they indeed had issued a show cause notice for 9,000 crores for FEMA violation to Baiju Ravindran and its co-founder. This is again something Byju's has been in legal troubles for the longest period of time. I think the problems are just compounding for them. Very difficult to say what's happening or what's going to happen to them. I don't know whether Byju's is in a category where you can say that they are too big to fail. However, we have seen companies like WeWork folding up, especially in these kind of scenarios. So, anybody who would wanna give it a shot on an opinion on what's gonna be the overall, uh, how do you see this whole saga finally closing down, or is this something which Byju's is just going to wide over using money? Anybody has a take on that? Mohit, I think you have spoken quite a bit. Shadab, this is your turn. Please.
Yeah, a couple of things. I mean, Byju's, I think this is not going to be too easy for them to just evade somehow, no matter how much they would want to deny it. Uh,
Mm,
so defaulting on loans and other stuff, bad publicity, bad PR, they will be able to do something about it. But this time, ED coming around and actually putting it out in the open, saying that so actually rebutting the denial that came. So
yeah,
that was quite something. Um,
yeah.
and the other thing regarding shuttle you were mentioning, so
Yeah.
shuttle Uber is actually a very welcome move from the uh, from safe and sustainable mobility standpoint. Actually, there was another startup which was in down south Chennai. They had operated and they were funded by Amazon called
Shuttle.
Shuttle. So it was
Shuttle. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was
Double
SSHUTTL.
TL.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they did quite good, and I think a lot of learning came from that experience, and Uber would have thought to
Hmm.
replicate it, and perhaps tied up with the Bengal government to do this.
Hmm.
So
Nahi,
at some point
this.
of time, I interacted with the founders of Shuttle,
Hmm.
and I was mentoring them for a while through a friend of mine who was into mobility space.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So quite
Yeah.
interesting there.
So they basically folded up because of COVID. That was the main issue.
Right,
Otherwise, they
right,
were
right.
doing fairly well. They basically then started a company called Metal.1, which was in the Web3 space. And now they
Hmm.
are building Misfits. They're a part of the club, by the way. They're part of the Builders Club.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah. Even
yeah,
even there was an acquiring news also from a company called Chalo, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they got acquired. I mean, they technically exited. The brand got
Right.
acquired. I think the whole logistics and the infrastructure that they built, that basically got acquired.
Right. Right.
But no, yeah, I think it's a decent business to be in a geographically. I mean, I think there are certain geographies in which it can technically be sustainable. A lot of places where buses are technically the primary route, like Calcutta. I think Delhi maybe again, your TG here is the corporates, the way I look at it. Even for the ones they are doing in Calcutta, they are not mass buses because the
Right.
ARPU would technically work out only for corporates, given the kind of infrastructure these people are building. What is your take on that, Shadab?
So, yeah, I mean, from the economic point of view, yes, you are absolutely correct. There would be a lot of urban pockets where this will make more sense. But beyond the economic sustainability, we are talking about the environment sustainability question here.
Yeah.
uh, Having something like this in a place like Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, or even denser urban clusters like Bombay, it is more imperative from the standpoint of environmental sustainability.
So shouldn't this be a government mandate from then?
So I think the Uber thing is happening because of the government
Ah,
intervention, yeah,
that
and it
makes
will it
sense.
will only sustain economically, so to say, if there is a government support. So so in fact, there is an organization, a few organizations, one being WRI, World Research Institute. It's a
Hmm.
Geneva-based organization which is actually evangelizing on these kind of sustainable city and urban developments.
Hmm.
And shuttle was supported by them, by the way.
Hmm. Interesting. That's interesting.
Mm.
Hmm. Hey Shreyash, how's it going? Hello, Shreyas? Shreyas, you have to unmute yourself. There's a mute unmute button. Uh,
Hey, hi.
yeah, we are
Hi,
all
Soel.
learning the LinkedIn Live UI. So hi
Same
Shreyas,
here, same here.
why don't you
Thanks,
introduce
thanks.
yourself and would love to hear your take on this.
So, hey, myself, Shreyans, we generally help global captives set up in India and we provide managed HR, managed recruitment, and managed financial services to them. And so, when you mention about Uber, so there is a company called Flix. They have come to India as well. They are a German company. They are also into shuttle business. They are getting into the shuttle business. But my take on Byju's is, I think probably the senior management or the founders might get replaced by the VC guys, and they might continue the journey ahead because they have built an ecosystem which is sustainable with Akash and everything that they have bought. I'm sure they have a lot of runway and all. They are cutting their losses. They have made mistakes, again big mistakes. तभी ED आया है उनके पास, but
Hmm.
I'm sure there will be a way out for them.
Hmm.
I don't think they are the star kids of the VC world. They will not let them fail very easily.
Hmm. Matlab, you're saying they're too big to fail.
I'm saying they're too big. Yeah, too big to fail as of now with the model that they are in.
Hmm. नहीं यार वैलिड पॉइंट है मुझे भी लगता है कि अभी तो देखो आई थिंक दिस इज गोना कंटिन्यू फॉर अनदर ईयर एंड हाफ ठीक है आई थिंक द
Correct, correct.
ईडी इज आल्सो ट्राइंग टू सक देम ड्राई सो
I
लेट्स
think the
सी
dance has just begun.
अभी
So
तो
वो जैसे Binance का हुआ, right? The CEO
हाँ अरे
stepped
यस
down. They are paying a huge fine. I
या
think the same will happen with Byju's, where the founders might step down. New leadership comes in play. They
या
pay the penalty for whatever they have done wrong,
या
and they move on from there.
नहीं नहीं, it's a very valid point and thank you for pointing it out. I think this is one news that we had most missed out on. So I think the Binance, the Web3 ecosystem continues to crumble. Uh, with I think Binance was the only long-standing, long-standing company or the bigger companies out there, which was in the Web3 ecosystem, and even that has kind of crashed now. The Binance founder has basically been has just stepped down, and he has resigned over money laundering probe, right? So, and over $1 billion have been pulled out of Binance already. And basically, so Binance CEO Sheng Peng Zhao, which is CZ, resigned from the company and pleaded guilty to breaking anti-money laundering laws of the US as part of a $4.3 billion settlement, resolving a year-long probe into the world's largest crypto exchange. दिस इज द डेथ नेल फॉर वेब थ्री यार, खत्म हो गया है तो फिर कुछ बचा ही नहीं है, फिर तो अभी डीफाई चलेगा जितना चलेगा। क्या लगता है इसमें श्रेयांश? एनीबडी
So I
हैज
think
अ टेक? हाँ।
means I don't have much exposure to crypto space, but DeFi also is going through a churn. They also did a lot of layoffs lately, and for Binance, I think जितना वो लोग फाइन भर रहे हैं उतनी तो वैल्यूएशंस है यहाँ पे कंपनी की, तो it's surely a way down. And I think the Indian government was looking for this kind of a fodder. that देखो हम बोल ही रहे थे,
या
हमने बताया ही था वो पेरेंटल रहता है ना इनसाइट कि देखो हमने बताया था आपको ऐसा होगा, आप नहीं समझ रहे थे. सो आई थिंक
Interesting. I think with that, we come to an end to the startup news. Any news? I think this was one news which we missed, and thanks a lot, Shreyans, for pointing that out. We move on to the last section, which is the giveaway. So, two people from today's event will get to win the book "Building a Second Brain" by Tiago Forte. This book talks all about how to organize your digital life and unlock your creative potential. This is the book of the week from the Builders Club. Now, how do you become a part of this giveaway? It's very simple. You people have stuck around for the longest period of time for an hour in this event. Hopefully, you people had a great time. We just want you to write down your experience of the show and tag the Builders Club on LinkedIn or on Twitter. Tell what your experience has been. In case there is any feedback, what new things that you want us to cover in this kind of a show. You people can do it on LinkedIn. You people can do it on Twitter. We are right now simultaneously casting on YouTube, so you can also put it as a YouTube comment under this video and you people get eligible. There are two lucky winners who are going to win this book from our side. We are going to announce this in the next 1 or 2 days. So you just have 24 hours. I think in the over the weekend we'll announce it. And every week we are doing book giveaways. All the books which are recommended as book of the week, we give out two editions to the people who are listeners and who are contributors in this show as well. So feel free to comment or put out a LinkedIn post or a Twitter or a YouTube comment on how what your experience has been about today, and if there are any improvements that we can make for today. So Sandhya, this is a shout out for you as well. So thanks a lot for sticking around for so long. This is your opportunity. This one we have reserved for you. As the moment you make a comment, we'll basically ship it out to you.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to grab the book.
Done, done. I think that brings us to the end of today's event, today's show. We do this every week. Last week we did it on Friday. This time we were experimenting with Thursday, but I think Thursday works better than Friday for sure. And I think we are going to see you guys again on next Thursday, 8:30 p.m. if the timings remain the same. I'm sure that the timing will remain the same.